It's very common, and all of us know that our way to success is not that easy, and it has a lot of complication, a lot of challenges being inviting us to face them and overcome them to reach the path of success or be successful. It's more important that how do you accept those challenges, those obstacles in your path. It is up to you that how you decide whether this incident or these failures or these obstacles will play a positive role or motivation in your life, or rather it will create a negative impression and you stop working further on your path to success. And that is what we will be talking about in today's session. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Raj Singh Talks. Myself Raj, and we are talking about today that how to turn your failures into success, or turn all your failures into a motivation to achieve success in your life. As usual, we have Mr. Neeraj Singh with us to support us, and I will be talking about more on this subject. So we would like to welcome you on the show. Thank you so much for inviting me here. To begin with the discussion today, we would like to understand that generally people face a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges, a lot of failures as well on their way to success. So do you really think that these failures can be avoided, or do they really play a vital role on your way to success? And if so, then how do we address them? How do we overcome such depressions or these kind of demotivations which might be in our part of life? Right, I think that's very common when you generally talk about a path to success or to achieve your target, whatever you probably have defined in your lifetime to be achieved. Generally, a lot of people face such challenges. There is no such path without any obstacle, without any challenges, without any failures. But it depends on us completely, that how do we consider those things. Does that mean that we have to be more challenging, we have to be more resolution oriented, or we want to stop and quit out? It's your choice again. Being an individual, this is your decision at that point of time when you experience your failures, that what is that you take that outcome or take that incident as. If you take it in a negative manner, you will never be able to regain that path or complete your aim and reach the destination. But if you see that, okay, fine, this failure is just a kind of trial for me and I can do better than this, let's hit again. Now, very simple examples are there, right around you. If you just try to look around you, you would find a lot many examples to help you understand that how exactly these silly things can help you keep motivated. Not only people when you talk to them, but obviously simple examples. Say, for example, you're trying and you're passionate about playing a game, right? And you have been through some different levels, and say, for example, you're at level 9 and you are failing consistently, right? Does that mean that you stop it? No, you define a different strategy that, okay, let me go from this way, let me try from that way, and you try to clear that level. The same happens the next level again. Level 10 is more complicated than level 9. And as you try to get into that again, you lose your lives, you get over with your lives, you again come back, again try, again lose your lives, but you keep on trying consistently. So that's what the motivation is. Like when you try, challenges are everywhere. But it depends on you how passionate you are about it. Because if you are passionate about achieving that destination, achieving that goal, these challenges will actually excite you. But if it is said by somebody that you have to achieve this and this is not your passion, then of course you would say, come on, it's not happening, let me leave this thing out. So it all depends on that how curious you are about it, with what objective you start off working on that particular motivation. So it all depends on you, that how you basically take up your path towards reaching the objectives or destination. If you are passionate yourself about achieving that, then nobody can stop you. But if you are doing it forcefully, somebody said that and you are trying to do this, of course you won't have any interest and passion about that, and you will just return back by the very first challenge which you face. Let it be very simple as well. There's another example. If you talk about like an ant, you would have seen ant climbing on a particular way and getting onto a wall. You try to stop or you try to drop that ant from the wall as many times as possible, the ant will not stop, because ant is actually having a kind of antenna system which tells her that where to go. The ant knows where is my direction and where I have to go. No matter how many times I try to stop her, how many times I try to avoid the way, still she will be able to move into the same direction and try and reach there. So inspirations are everywhere. All we need to do is identify. Even if you talk about a story which happened in early 19th, that is, you talk about Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, where his complete laboratory was under fire. A small fire which turned into a big lab explosion, and everything turned into whatever, called as like smashes. Nothing. Everything turned into, the ashes. But this was reported to Thomas Alva Edison at the same point of time. Thomas reached the position, reached that particular location where the fire was taking place outside his office, and he had his very young son with him, around 7 to 8 years of old son, and he said to him that, look at this, it's burning. Can you please go and call your mom, because she would have never seen such a fire. Now look at this. Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, who spent so many years of his life inventing light for us, right? Creativity, that invention, what he has done, and his lab, which was like 6 to 8 buildings together, and that was completely set on fire. And his reaction was, go and call your mom, because she would never see a big fire like this in her life, or she would have never seen such a fire in life. So this is what we actually understand from there. The story is to understand that how you take a particular incident depends on you to define the future. Now when the wife came and she saw that incident happening, he said, everything is ruined, whatever you did. Now what are we supposed to do? What is the future? How will you showcase, or how will you redo everything? He said only one thing at that point of time. Though everything is burnt, all my mistakes are also burnt. Now look at this. This is what you say. I would have done a number of mistakes there, and there were justifications, there were proofs, there were things which I could not do better. Initially when he created bulb, of course it was of a different shape, different size, different filament strength, and many other things. But now he slowly started getting ideas to compact it. And then he said that with this fire, not only my invention, but my mistakes are also gone. But now I'll start afresh tomorrow, and we will see some new changes happening in the world. So yes, at the very first day after the fire went off, the very next day, Thomas Alva Edison was in lab and busy working on his asset again. So that is what the motivation is. How you accept it is the most important thing. If you say, come on, I'm ruined, then obviously you're ruined. You have to this is psychological aspect. Motivation is what? It's not a cup of tea. It's not a bread of butter. It's just like a psychological aspect. How positive you stay is more important to address such queries. That was quite interesting to understand when we talk about the Manjhi man, and also we understand about the Thomas Alva Edison story, and that helps us to boost our inspiration. Here's the another thing, when we generally talk about, we feel that most of the people say that our job was not so easy. We took up a very complicated target or complicated goal to be achieved, which was actually impossible to be done. So it's not easy to achieve the thing what we are trying to do. When people say that, what is that you would like to help them with? At this point of time, when you say that the job is complicated, in that terms, if I have to say, I would rather say that in this world, either everything is complicated, or in this world, it is nothing which is complicated. Everything around you is either seen as nature's creation or our creation. So when you use these two statements here, right, which very well gives you a definition that it is either naturally created or created by humans, then of course either it is 100% complicated or it's not at all complicated. And the one what we are trying to do is obviously created by humans. Computers never created human. Humans created computer, and you want to create a supercomputer now and you call it as a complicated job? I think you are lagging somewhere in terms of your inspiration towards finding the solution. As a human being. We are capable of doing. We are given with that asset, given with that amenities or abilities within us that we can do anything. We can recreate nature as well. People, deforestation and lot of expansion which happens within the urban areas, but you can go ahead and plant new trees and create rural again or countryside again, which will be green again. So nothing is impossible. It's just that we have to have that inspiration towards doing the job, that okay, let it be complicated. Nothing is complicated, but I have to overcome this. I have to do this. So I would like to share one of the examples from that Indian movie called as Mountain Man, Mr. Manjhi, Dashrath Manjhi. This gentleman had a wife, of course, got married, and wife was suffering from some of the injuries probably, or like she was about to deliver a baby or something, I don't remember. And this person's village was on the other side of a mountain, whereas the hospital and other thing was on the other side of the mountain. So to actually reach the hospital, this person has to actually go over the mountain to other side to reach the hospital, because if they go around the mountain, it would take a very long time. The shortest way was over the mountain, so they have to climb the mountain and reach the other side. And that he failed to do, because obviously climbing a mountain would be quite long and hectic, that too with a patient with you. So he failed. But that moment he decided that he lost his wife, he will kill that mountain. The statement what he meant standing at the mountain is that I will kill you. You have a lot of attitude. You are standing right in front of me. You think that nobody can beat you. I will prove that. Now after that, he took 22 years, 22 man years, and he actually made a way in between the mountain to connect to the other side. But 22 years. Imagine, he would have, there were so many obstacles on his way when he actually came the way to, finish that work. There were a lot of snake bites, he faced a lot of, drought, he faced hot sun, he faced unwealthy weathers, he faced, starving, he faced a lot of things during that. But he said, you have that feeling there which says that no, you took my wife away and I'm not going to leave you like that. And the main incident, what I'm trying to say you is that how to stay inspired when it comes to a complication with your activity is that when you say a person that, okay, this is complicated for me, and people show you something more complicated which is being done, then you realize that, okay, this is not complicated. And we need this. We human needs this to prove that motivation is required. So same incident happened in the same movie, that is Manjhi. And this gentleman was actually a journalist, newspaper journalist, and he used to always come and meet Mr. Dashrath Manjhi to collect his updates that, come on, what is that you're trying to do? So a span of 22 years, he used to come every time and now and then and ask him that, amazing, you're trying to break a mountain which is not possible. And he's breaking. So after a few years, like around 11-15 years, he came back and he said that you have made half the way, but I'm not sure whether will you complete it or not, because you may die because of excess work and no food and no shelter and a lot of other amenities. And he said that I'm fed up of reporting these fake newses. This is exactly the incidents which happened, which inspired me there. That the journalist said, I'm fed up of reporting fake newses. So what do you say? He said, Dashrath Manjhi said that, why don't you start your own newspaper? And the journalist responded to that, it's not that easy to start a new newspaper. We can't just print a newspaper, it's not that easy. We need lot many things, it's very complicated. And Manjhi just returned to him, looked at his eyes and said, is it complicated than breaking a mountain? And that was the moment journalist just got up from there. He left and he published his paper and brought the first copy to Dashrath Manjhi itself. See, you never know that what more complicated things are happening around you. Subjected people tell that. Is it more complicated than what I'm doing? Is it more complicated than achieving something which people have already done? That inspires you. So always think of such things around you that I may have amenities, I may have facilities, and still I'm complaining that I'm not able to achieve it because it is a complicated job. Think of more complications what people are doing. Think of farmers, think of poor people who are struggling for their life at least. And then you will gain a lot of inspiration there that yes, I can do it. When these can, why cannot I? So look for such inspirations within you and then work on it. That's a great piece of information. I think not all of them really had concentrated on that part of it to make the job easier when compared to earlier. Is there anything which people can really think upon, like what could be a resource for or kind of fuel for your continuous spirit towards being positive or consistently overcoming the failures and still working on achieving the success? Is there any such thing which can be called as a resource which we can refer or we can use and help us to be always motivated to do something? See, the continuous spirit would come only from you, within you. You need to decide on what exactly you're doing. When people come and ask you what is that you're doing, you say, no, just simply working or simply studying or just doing something. That is the other response. But somebody asks you and say that, what is that you're doing? You say, I'm working for a mission. I have a goal to achieve something at the end of this year and I'm working day and night for that. The responses makes it very clear that who is having a spirit to achieve something and who is self-motivated. Remember team, it's not just the motivation. There's more than motivation, which is inspiration which you require to have within you. Until once you are self-inspired, motivation will no longer help you. You have to have an inspiration within you. You have to be inspired by some sources and then follow your motivational thoughts to help you with your achievements. So that is how it works. So it depends on your response, how you respond to people. I'm just simply doing something. That means you do not have a goal. You are not talking about achieving something. You are not talking about being successful. But when you say, somebody asks you, what is that you're doing? I'm working on a particular mission. I'm here to achieve by end of this year to this particular thing, and that is what will make me successful. And I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to follow any other schedule until I achieve it. So people, when they don't let you, they can't stop you by doing anything, is what you call it as passionate about something. So having the passion, having the spirit, having that enthusiasm to do something will keep you continuously inspired. And that will be your fuel to the support towards your continuous spirit to work on your aim and goal. And that's how you generally become successful. Thank you so much for that information. So team, that was the discussion on how to turn your failures into success and how to overcome the barriers and keep yourself inspired all the time, which instead in turn keeps you motivated throughout your life to achieve the successful path or reach the milestones and goals of your life. So that's all from this particular episode team. We'll be getting back to you with another episode with more interesting motivational and inspirational talks and stories. For that, stay tuned for upcoming sessions of Raj Singh Talks. Do not forget to subscribe and like and share the video with your friends. Thanks for watching the video and stay motivated.